Cholesterol myth exposed. Why your doctor's LDL obsession is killing you. New 2024 data. Cold open, a 1.2 million patient study just proved that everything your cardiologist believes about cholesterol is completely backwards, and the pharmaceutical industry buried it. For 60 years, you have been told that LDL cholesterol is the enemy, that lowering it at all costs will save your life, that statins are miracle drugs. But what if I told you that people with low LDL cholesterol actually die at higher rates than people with high LDL? What if the entire cholesterol hypothesis, the foundation of modern cardiology, was built on manipulated data, corporate funding, and willful ignorance of contradictory evidence? Today we are pulling back the curtain on the biggest medical scandal of our lifetime, the cholesterol myth. And by the end of this video, you will never look at your blood work the same way again. Welcome back to the Real Bio Protocol, the channel where we break down the science of peptides, fitness, and health optimization that most people will never hear about. Today we are diving into something that could completely change the way you think about cholesterol, heart disease, and the drugs millions of people take every single day. We are going to cover exactly how the cholesterol myth started, what the real science says, the results you can expect when you understand the truth, and exactly what you need to do to actually protect your heart. Stay with us until the end, because we are going to give you the full protocol. Let's get into it. Here is what you are going to learn today. Why LDL cholesterol is not the killer you have been told it is. What actually causes heart disease. Why statins may be doing more harm than good for most people. And what you should actually focus on to protect your cardiovascular system for life. ACT1, the setup. Let me ask you something. Have you ever questioned why heart disease rates keep climbing even though statin prescriptions have increased by over 300% in the last 20 years? Something does not add up. Here's what mainstream medicine tells you. High LDL cholesterol clogs your arteries like grease in a pipe. Statins lower LDL. Therefore, statins save lives. Simple, right? Wrong. This narrative has made the pharmaceutical industry over $1 trillion. Lipitor alone was the best-selling drug in human history, and the entire foundation of this empire rests on a hypothesis from the 1950s that has never been definitively proven. Your doctor is not lying to you. They genuinely believe what they were taught in medical school. But what they were taught was influenced by decades of industry-funded research, cherry-picked data, and the systematic suppression of contradictory evidence. The cholesterol lie runs deep, and it affects your life every single time you get blood work done, and your doctor looks at that LDL number with concern. ACT2, the science. Now let us look at what the research actually says when you dig past the headlines. In 2024, a massive systematic review analyzing data from over 1.2 million patients found something shocking. There was no consistent relationship between LDL cholesterol levels and cardiovascular mortality in the general population. In fact, several studies within this review showed that lower LDL was associated with higher all-cause mortality. Read that again. The Lyon Diet Heart Study showed a 70% reduction in cardiac events with zero change in cholesterol levels. The Sydney Diet Heart Study found that lowering cholesterol with vegetable oils actually increased death rates. The Minnesota Coronary Experiment, buried for decades, showed the same thing. Here's what the statin trials actually show when you look at absolute risk reduction instead of the relative numbers they use in marketing. For people without existing heart disease, statins reduce your risk of a heart attack by about 1% over 5 years. 1%. Meanwhile, the side effects including muscle pain, cognitive issues, increased diabetes risk, and potential liver damage affect up to 20% of users. The cholesterol truth is not that LDL does not matter at all. It is that the relationship is far more complex than a simple number on a blood test. ACT3, how it works. So if cholesterol is not the villain, what actually causes heart disease? Let me explain this in plain English. Think of your arteries like the walls of your house. Cholesterol is not grease clogging a pipe. LDL particles are actually delivery trucks carrying essential nutrients to every cell in your body. Your body needs cholesterol. It makes hormones. It builds cell membranes. Your brain is literally made of it. The real problem is not cholesterol. It is inflammation and oxidative stress. When the walls of your arteries get damaged by high blood sugar, chronic stress, processed seed oils, smoking, or lack of sleep, your body sends LDL particles to repair the damage. It is a healing response. But when inflammation is chronic, this repair process goes haywire. Small, dense LDL particles get oxidized and trapped in the arterial wall. That is when plaque forms. This is why someone can have perfect LDL numbers and still have a heart attack. and why someone with high LDL can have perfectly clean arteries. The LDL number alone tells you almost nothing. What matters is particle size, oxidation status, and most importantly, the metabolic environment in your body. ACT4, the protocol. So what should you actually do with this information? Here's the real protocol for cardiovascular health. First, stop obsessing over total LDL. Ask your doctor for advanced lipid testing that measures particle size and number. Small, dense LDL is concerning. Large, buoyant LDL is largely benign. Second, focus on metabolic health markers that actually matter. Fasting insulin, triglyceride to HDL ratio, HbA1c, and inflammatory markers like CRP. If your triglycerides divided by your HDL is under 2, your cardiovascular risk is dramatically lower regardless of your LDL. Third, address the root causes of arterial damage. Cut processed seed oils and replace them with olive oil, butter, and animal fats. Control your blood sugar through diet and exercise. Manage stress because cortisol directly damages arterial walls. Prioritize sleep because it is when your body repairs itself. Fourth, consider targeted supplementation. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation. Vitamin K2 directs calcium away from arteries and into bones. Magnesium supports healthy blood pressure. CoQ10 is especially important if you are on a statin because statins deplete it. Fifth, build muscle. Skeletal muscle is the largest glucose sink in your body. The more muscle you have, the better your metabolic health. Resistance training 3 to 4 times per week is cardioprotective. ACT5 week-by-week results when you implement this protocol. Here's what to expect. Week 1 through 2. You may notice improved energy as you reduce inflammatory foods. Blood sugar stabilizes. Sugar cravings decrease. Week 4. Sleep quality often improves. Morning energy increases. If you were on a statin and discussed alternatives with your doctor, you may notice reduced muscle pain. Week 8. Triglyceride to HDL ratio begins improving. This is one of the first measurable changes. Inflammatory markers start dropping. Week 12. Get comprehensive blood work done. You should see improvements in fasting insulin, CRP, and triglycerides, even if LDL stays the same or increases slightly. At 6 months and beyond, these metabolic improvements compound. Your actual cardiovascular risk drops regardless of what happens to that LDL number your doctor obsesses over. Resolution: the payoff here is what you now know that most people never will. The cholesterol myth is exactly that, a myth. Your LDL number in isolation means almost nothing. Heart disease is a disease of inflammation and metabolic dysfunction, not dietary fat and cholesterol. Statins help a small subset of people but are massively overprescribed, and the real path to cardiovascular health has nothing to do with avoiding eggs and everything to do with metabolic optimization. You are now equipped with knowledge that could literally save your life or the life of someone you love. The pharmaceutical industry spent billions making sure you never learned this, but now you know. The science is out there and now you have it. That is why we are here. This is the Real Bio Protocol. If you enjoyed this upload, do not forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing is completely free. Share this with someone who needs it and tune in again for the next upload. See you then. If you enjoyed this upload, do not forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing is completely free. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Tune in again for the next upload. This has been the Real Bio Protocol.